The Almost Perfect Podcast. Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck-ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but that experience doesn't have to be your own. Hi, I'm Bob Perfect, and I'm a functional fuck-up. Let's learn from somebody else's mistakes. And today we're learning from Matthew Rightford. Now, Matthew is a musician that goes by the name of Albany Lore. Sometimes it's just him, sometimes it's two people, sometimes it's three, sometimes it's four, sometimes it's even five. I don't know if he's gone bigger than that, but I know he can play as a 5-piece band, and sometimes as a solo act. So that's Matthew Radford, people. That's Albany Lore. He plays sax and he sings, and he makes some incredibly smooth music, man. Just groovy jams that I really enjoy. So I had to get him on the podcast, and especially because he was in Durban last week, so things lined up. He's been on the list for a very long time now, and so I'm really stoked that I finally got to chat to him on this podcast. If you listen to the Tor Rixon one, he comes up a lot in this podcast because him and Matt go way back. I don't know if I should call him Matt or Matthew. He goes by Matthew online, so I think I'm just going to keep calling him Matthew as best I can. But yeah, him and Tor Rixon go way back, so we discuss their history, like how they make music together. We get into how Matt got started playing sax at SACS, which is, funny, I guess, or it's just a silly little thing that's quite cool. But we get into, how he had the right education when it came to music from a very young age, and it's definitely helped him develop a good taste for music and, create some really dope jams. And yeah, we get into his love of South African jazz, we get into his love of New Age Kwaito, we get into a whole lot of different topics. We even get into AI and Big Brother. Yeah, man, managed to sneak the AI thing into another conversation on this podcast. I think it's gonna happen a lot. I think it's gonna happen a lot as time goes on. But yeah, because that's something I have chatted to a few different people about now on this podcast, and it's cool to get people's different perspectives, and it is partially what his new song is about. He's got a new song called Payphone, and yeah, it's partially about that. It's partially about how we're being secretly monitored all the time, how we're always being watched, and it's probably about a few different things as well. If you want to actually know my thoughts on the song, well, you'll hear some of them throughout this interview, but you can also go read bubblegumclub.co.za. I wrote a little article on this track for them. So yeah, we get into that. We get into a whole bunch of different topics, and I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation with Matthew. He's someone I've known for years. I've known him for about 5 years now, and they came in, I don't know if you know, but they came and stayed at my place, him, Tor, and a few other cats, when him and Tor and Diamond Thug were on tour here. I helped put it together and let the cats crash at my house. And we just got along, man. We just, I dug them, dug their sense of humor, dug their vibe, their work ethic. They had a vibe called NAS. We didn't even get to chat about NAS. Probably should have. But yeah, they had, a cool crew back in the day. And they all still work together, and they're all still doing cool things. And I'll probably get to chat to each one individually as this podcast goes on. But yeah, man, Matt's been doing cool things. He's been making dope music. And so I'm really stoked we got to chat. And I'm also just really stoked at the moment with, the way people have been supporting the podcast. Thank you so much for all the, I'm putting a bit more stuff out on social media a little bit in certain areas like Twitter and stuff. And I'm working on stuff for Instagram. You'll see it when it's done. It's just, I'm a one-man operation at the moment. And I'm trying to make a thing work for it. And it means I've got to go and listen to all the podcasts now. And there's 40 something of them. And so, that's 40 something hours at least that I've got to go through so I can do the thing I want to do. But it'll be worth it. It'll all be worth it, hopefully, when it's done. And you can go and like that on Instagram. But you can go follow us on Instagram at the moment at Almost Perfect Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at almost_podcast. You can like us on Facebook at the Almost Perfect Podcast. And what else? Oh yeah, patreon.com. At the moment, I am trying to raise some funds to fix the other microphone. So you can hear this. I sound dope as fuck on this microphone, but you'll hear on the podcast things sound a little bit average. I have tried to learn a lot of things with Audacity, and I'm trying to get the quality of stuff better. But at the moment, I'm recording interviews straight off the Zoom because I've only got this one microphone to talk into, or else I've got the Zoom that can catch both of us talking. And so, yeah, it's not the best sound quality, and I don't really dig it. And so, yeah, I need to get that microphone fixed. But shit ain't that, like, flush for me at the moment. So, yeah, I'm hoping a few more people sign up to the Patreon account this month, and I can get that microphone fixed ASAP. And then, yeah, we can get this podcast back on the road. It'll be sounding like wherever I do it, with whoever I do it. It'll just sound a lot better once I can get the microphone fixed again. And then from there, the whole plan, like with Patreon, is if I can get enough people on, I can get someone else to edit it. So I can get someone else to make the podcast sound a lot better. And then it can also allow me a bit more time to focus on other admin and other things that needs to happen if I want to grow this thing. And I really do want to grow this thing. So yeah, if you don't even, if you can't sign up to the Patreon, or you don't feel like it, totally chilled. But if you could share this, like on whatever social media platform you're on and you dig, I would really appreciate that. Just share this one, share whichever episode you enjoy, like, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff really matters. And especially doing stuff like leaving comments on iTunes. They really value that very highly, and leaving reviews on iTunes also value that very highly. And then it can start coming up in other people's feeds, and that will help a lot. Because, yeah, I know you people dig it. Like, you'll tell me all the time. You're like, man, I really dig your podcast. And I really fucking appreciate that. It's helped a lot. It really helps keep me going. Like, it does. People telling me that they enjoy it. Like, I immediately think, fuck you, you're wrong. But at the same time, I'm like, well, at least you're not doing it for nothing. I mean, the schmuck over here fucking thinks, you're not, like, completely fucking worthless. So, maybe you're not completely worthless. Nah, my self-worth ain't attached to you. Okay, it is a little bit. It is just a little bit. So, yeah, give me some more of that self-worth. And let me know what you think of the podcast. I'd actually also like some negative feedback. Not negative feedback, no. I would like some real criticism. That's what I would like. Yeah, please, if you've got any sort of real criticism of the podcast and that, or just ways you think it could improve, or just things, that I should work on, don't be a dick about it. But please hit me up and let me know what you think. Because, like I say, I want to make this better. I want to improve. And I want to grow onwards and upwards. Like, I basically want to try and double the listenership next year, because this has been a dope year. I've learned a lot, and now I feel like I need to start putting this out there. I need to start having a little bit more confidence in myself and my product. Not my product, fuck that. I'd rather shoot myself than call this a product again. My creative endeavor, because obviously I don't want to call this content, man. I hate that. Like, create art, not content, etc., etc. This has been a bit of a rambly one. And as you can tell, I'm in a slightly weird headspace at the moment. But like I say, I'm pretty focused at the moment. I'm just trying to make this podcast the best it can be. And it would be cool if you help me do that. So let me know your criticisms and thoughts on this episode, previous episodes, just vibes in general. What you think I can do to make it better. What you would like out of the Patreon account. There's various different things that I already offer there. Like being able to suggest guests, like being able to ask guests questions, knowing stuff about them beforehand. That sort of thing. But if there's anything else you want to know, then yeah, hit me up. Let me know. The contact details, like I said, like were all the social medias, and then almostperfectpod@gmail.com. You can just send me an email if you'd like. And I guess that's that. That's all of that. That's everything I needed to say before this podcast goes in. Oh yeah, one more thing. Patreon winner, well, it wasn't just for Patreon, but they got free entries into the competition for last month, is Gareth Morris Hale. He has won a 250 Rand voucher to HQ Gaming. So shout outs to Gareth Morris Hale. He's been a long-time supporter of the podcast and just a lot of the projects I've been involved in over the years. So thank you so much, Gareth. Much, much, much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed that voucher. Get yourself something nice. Don't spend it all in one place. Or actually, you can only spend it in one place. But yeah, that's that. We're going to get into the podcast now. It's time for the Almost Perfect Podcast with Matthew Rightford.
How you living, Matt?
Yo, dude, in Durban, so living good, dude.
Living good.
Yo, man, we pulled in and it's just like summer. It's like proper summer.
This is not summer yet.
No, I know, but like, you know, you come from Cape Town and it's just like breezy, dude.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
Because you guys have like weather there. Like you guys actually have like, you know, it attacks you, like it hurts
Sure,
you, like it fucks
sure.
with you. Here, like we have weather just in summer. Like you just like everything's done at half pace
Yeah.
because
Super humid, right?
yeah, you gotta just save that water. You know, like
Yeah.
Dune, you gotta like have your water reserves. Like I feel like that's gonna be the future we live in. Like the Durbanites are gonna be more prepared for it because we're just so used to like
Just used to that.
that shit, man. But yeah, so you're in Durban. That's fucking dope. That's why we're chatting. Usually I chat to people in other cities. Like you were someone who's on the list for when I come to Cape Town.
Sure.
But like yeah, it's really cool that you're up here. You played at the Charlatan last night for Roots Up's first Thursdays gig.
Yeah, man, it was cool, dude. We had Ryan and Mitch like help us out from the sound point of view, and they've also like put us up with a place to stay. So yeah, we played at like 8:30, so it was a cool sort of like chilled crowd. Yeah, by like the end of the set, it really felt cool. So
Yeah.
we were super chuffed.
To be honest, for that first Thursday gig, like 8:30 seems like the perfect time to like play for your kind of music because that gig gets too lit. Like it gets.
No, for sure, dude. It's the first Thursday. People want to party, man.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense. Like I would feel awkward being put on like a late slot at like a party. Because if I'm playing, like even if like a 9 o'clock DJ plays like a banging set, like a really cool like house set or something, people are already dancing, dude. And then I'm gonna come like, and even though some of my stuff gets into a dancey space, it's very like, it can be very slow and that kind of thing. So the energy definitely dips.
Well, that would be, I think, yeah, like with DJ lineups, you would have to be a bit earlier, but in band lineups, you guys can totally play like later. Like, you know, depending on how, you know, the booker structures it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, that's a cool thing. We were actually chatting about it a little bit just now about what you do. So with Albany Lore, which is your band / you know, solo project, essentially, you get to do that. You get to play as a solo act, or you get to like travel with the band.
Yeah.
So you get to also do you play different kinds of sets essentially between the two? Like, so like if you're on your own, does it get more dancey? Does it get more like electronic?
Yeah, for sure. Because if I play full on solo, then the only elements that aren't in the backing track would be sax, vocals, and keys. So it definitely feels much more electronic because all the drums are electronic. But then like now, like last night we played like a 3-piece. So then it was guitar was also added to live, and Aviwa and Nkosi were both doing vocals as well.
Okay.
So yeah, dude, and then for the chairman on Saturday we're doing a 5-piece. So Asher Gamedze and Rob Scott are flying up tomorrow to join us for the show.
Oh, it's not, yeah, because I actually want to ask you if you were working with local cats or if.
Oh right, yeah, no.
That's a lot more work then. You've got to do like practice sessions.
Yeah, I did, because like a one-way flight from Cape Town to Durban versus like
studio time
versus like the logistics of planning. Like exactly, and the guys know the tracks and we've been playing together for a while now.
So yeah, how long has the band been going? Because I've known Albany Lore as like your project for years.
Yeah.
Now, you know, like probably like for about 5 years or so. I've known the name Albany Lore, and you know, like I think I met you with. I think you were playing with Tor, or you were in Diamond Thug. I can't remember who you were playing.
I was playing with Tor, but we were touring with Diamond Thug.
Yeah. So that because I remember that tour like very vividly. You cats were really cool. Like I really enjoyed.
That was a fun tour, dude.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I really enjoyed like hanging out with all of you. I had quite a few of you staying in my flats. And, it was just a really cool.
Dude, the first night we watched did stand up for me, like Richard Pryor, dude.
Oh shit! Yes, I had that on DVD.
So cool.
Fuck. Yeah, man. Fuck. And like, I can't even remember where I was going with this point at the moment, but I've known Albany Lore for I've known you as a musician, and then you started the Albany Lore project around that time.
I did, like it was like October 2014. I released Cynic Surrender with the video.
Yeah, man, that was really dope.
Yeah, I shot that with Tor and Dave East, which was a lot of fun. But at that point, I hadn't really tucked into like Ableton yet. So that song was very much just me like writing it on piano and then Tor producing it like the rest.
Okay.
I was like with like the horn, I like wrote the horn lines and everything. But I didn't really have anything to follow it up with. And because I was then kind of very like reliant on potentially like having to work with Tor or someone else that can produce for me, yeah, I kind of had to like just take a back seat and got a job. So then worked for like just over 2 years, and then 2017 sort of got back into doing Albany Lore again.
Because I was wondering about that, why you took that break, because I really liked the Cynic Surrender. I thought it was such a great song, like really cool video. And so it does make sense. In that 2 years though, did you spend time like, learning Ableton?
Exactly.
You had a job and
Yeah, so just like after work, just like dive in, started writing, recording stuff. And then sort of like over 2 years. And what I also had fun with was so like a lot of the tracks on the EP that's coming out in November are essentially like a producer will send me a track that they've written, and then I will add vocals and sax to it, and like almost just like write a song to what they've given me. So then it was cool because I didn't have to necessarily go all the way of like learning how to produce my own beats, because I was getting some from homies that I could like then I could focus on lyrics and melodies and stuff. So so did that over a few years, and then started writing properly again in 2017. Best Easy Genie end of the year, and then we started playing shows halfway through 2018. So the first show I played with Asher Gomeze on drums, and Nkosi joined me for a track, and then it was just me doing vocals, keys and sax. And then from there we kind of just built, and then the first like bigger band show that we did was at Cafe Rue, where we got like a big horn section. It had like a 9-piece band.
It was almost like a relaunch of like Albany Lore. Like
I
saw that. Like I really wanted to be at that gig. Like it looked like such a cool like experience. It was like, you guys were the headline act. You were like the main act. It was your gig, right? Like.
Well, I guess with Cafe Rue, they only have one band a night.
Okay, yeah.
But so it is kind of like, and they create an environment that's. It's more about like, I guess, appreciating music. Some people find it like not cool because they like want you to keep quiet and stuff. So, but as a performer, it's really like refreshing, because sometimes if you play it like more of like a party setting, like in between tracks, and you try and like banter or like try and talk to the crowd, and like no one's listening, and you're like
like because no one's actually there. Like, do you think that's always been a thing in music, or is it more of a thing these days that people don't give a fuck like about the bands? Like.
I don't know, dude.
Because I think there were always elements of it, back in the day. But like, I don't know. I see elements of maybe because I was in the front row back in the day. I didn't really see like all the cynical people at the back, or the people not really giving a fuck about the bands at the back. And now, like, if I go to a gig, like I'll watch stuff from the back, like not cynically, or sometimes a little bit cynically, but I'll see like how few people give a fuck about what's actually happening on stage, about the band that's actually playing. And sometimes it's deserved, sometimes the band's not very good, but a lot of the time there's like really good music happening, and people are just there because it's a social thing to do. Like, and like, that is what's dope. Like, that's no doubt about it. That's what's rad about going to gigs, and you don't have to care about every band. But I do wonder how much these days, like, music is even more of a backdrop. But maybe I'm just like, old and seeing things differently.
I think music is becoming more of a backdrop, but just purely by the volume that we have access to now.
Okay.
Like, because you can listen to music all the time.
Yeah.
So I think we're consuming a lot more music. So I think it fast tracks music's like role in like nostalgia. I think like, so because music's always like a reference to like a time, like a night out where a song played and you like dance with your friends or something, like,
Exactly, like I just think back, you can remember the bands.
Yeah, like, it's like, for me, it's like the second thing after smell. Like, smell is like the OG of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then like music is like the next one for me.
Definitely. I've also, I don't know, I'm pretty visual as well though.
Yeah.
Like, I see things that trigger stuff, but definitely music is a hella trigger for like just nostalgia. Like,
dude.
Just like, it takes you back, but like, do you like worry, or like, I mean, I'm sure you are still listening to a lot of new music, but like, I'm finding myself in that phase of like going back and listening to just a lot of the stuff I used to listen to like as a teenager. Like, I'm in my 30s now, and I'm just like, yeah, man, this shit just hits right. You
Yeah,
know?
dude.
Like, it feels
Comes
this,
back
man.
around, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
Yeah.
do you like have that same sort of vibe at all?
Totally, dude. I think depending on what's keeping me busy, that kind of like morphs my music listening. So because I do some freelance work on the side, and if I'm busy with freelance work, then I listen to new music, because while I'm working I just let Spotify or like whatever just cruise.
Yeah, because you don't want to actually know the lyrics and stuff.
Exactly,
like, because
because
then you concentrate on it. Like I have the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but then if I'm maybe more busy with music stuff, and I'm not like sitting down at a laptop like doing other work. If I'm sitting at a laptop, I'm like working in Ableton or something. So
can you listen to other music whilst working in Ableton?
Definitely not.
Okay, like sorry, I was like,
No.
I was like wondering what you were.
No, I meant like if you're at your laptop, you're probably like working on tracks, so you're not like sitting listening to music while you're doing other work, like admin or whatever. But yeah. So then I tend to listen to stuff I've been listening to, and I kind of like dig into it a bit more.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And like, what sort of stuff like did you listen to? Because I can't figure it out by your music. Like, so if I listening to Albany Lore, like you know, I would think like, you know, like fucking like Phil Collins and shit, like, you know, and like just like I don't know, like what's his name, Kenny G, like.
Dude, I actually never listened to Kenny G. It's quite funny that's a reference.
I can imagine that you haven't, you know, but like just from your sax playing and that,
Sure.
you know, like that's the kind of stuff, and like there's such a like 80s kind of feel to your music for me, and it's like hard to put a like exact pin on it, because it's not synth pop, but it's got elements of it. It's got elements of indie. It's got you know, you've got a lot of different elements to your music. So
yeah,
what have you listened to like before, and like how did you get to through all of that?
Dude, I honestly think the first thing that I think like really hit me is probably like the unhippest thing I could think of, and it was, but I fucking love it, like what it was. But like Robbie Williams, he did that Swing When You're Winning, like
that
album
song
and concert.
Kids is really good, with Kylie Minogue and then.
No, like the one where he covered all the like jazz standards.
Oh snap! Okay, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, and he did like a live performance of it, and we had a DVD of it, and it was kind of just around the time that I started playing saxophone.
Okay.
So like 11, 12, and.
Okay, wait. First, how did you get into playing sax? Like, it's an unusual instrument for a young kid to like get into. Was it Lisa Simpson or like what's that?
Lisa Simpson, dude. I wonder how many homies played sax because of Lisa Simpson, dude.
Or didn't.
Yeah, dude. I was super lucky. I went to SACS. Lol.
Oh, that's cool.
But SACS. And yeah, the when even from when I was in junior school, the music department was just like really strong. It was headed up by this guy Terrence Carr, who's just a boss, dude. Like, and so it was really cool. And the junior school at that time, especially, and actually still now, I think that they've got a really cool culture of like balance. So it's like sport, academics, like cultural stuff is all equal. So we had cats like playing, even in high school, playing like first team rugby and first team water polo, but like being in the jazz band, which was pretty cool. So that's where I learned to play sax. And then so post Robbie Williams, I guess, dude, like a lot of jazz from doing like jazz in high school.
That's dope. Like, so you got given like you're lucky in that you learned it from a young age, and so you just got given the right education for it, like, from the get go. Like, it wasn't like you didn't get into like some ska bands or something, and then from there we're like
dude, I got into a lot of ska bands.
I'm sure you got into ska.
Yeah, like because of doing jazz and being like a teenager at that time, ska was just like so cool because it was like jazz, but it was rock and it was punk, it was all this shit, and
it was like Durban had a bit of ska, but Cape Town had ska. Y'all just, did you guys have circle pits? Did you guys have spanking? Like, it was a vibe, because we had more like running pits, you know, like we were more on the hardcore side of things. Like Durban became more like the hardcore punk side, and like Cape Town always was like just that ska punk like kind of vibes.
I'm pretty sure there was a gig at like Rustenburg Girls High School, and it was it like Goldfish? I think it might have been like Goldfish, and then it was the Rudimentals. And
that's actually a pretty dope line.
Yeah, I mean at the time as well, because it was like early first album Goldfish.
Yeah, before they like Goldfish isn't bad.
No,
like,
dude, they've just like chosen to do what they want to do,
and
like,
it's also
it's
like,
cool.
I guess you kind of can choose your audience, but also to a degree you can't. Like they definitely, once they got successful in that market, definitely carried on marketing towards them. But like their first album, like it's not for me, but it's not bad. Like. Like it's definitely a good album.
The first album,
yeah,
I really like the first album.
Yeah,
I got into it like in a big way.
So them and Rudimentals together, like
dude, so
with horns, like that's such a dope, like
the floors broke, dude. Like the school hall floors from during the Rudimentals. It's just like
just people just jumping up and down. Yeah. Fuck man, I can imagine.
Party ended, dude.
Such a rad gig. Shit, like I don't even know if shit like that still happens, man. Like DIY like gigs, like the way they used to be. Like
I think it's because pop music's like become cool again. So I feel like when you can go to a gig now where people potentially play a show that has a lot of energy, but isn't necessarily like as intense as like a rock show.
Yeah.
So you get the same sort of like experience of like like cathartic kind of like this is sick, or
like rap shows have mosh pits now, but like they're still like pretty mellow, like compared to like what mosh pits are. Like it's cool that people are getting to have like that same expression, that's like that's, I do think like time and place, but it is nice for this place to have masculine expression. Like I think hardcore like was great for dudes to just let out all their fucking angst and anger.
Yeah, dude.
And then you don't have people like doing the same shit, like like fighting and stuff like that, and like causing shit like at gigs, because they just had a half hour of fucking smacking each other around like in the mosh pit. Yeah. So it's quite a fun vibe. But like I also dig that like now that people still have that, but it's less smacking each other in the face and just like a bit more chilled.
Yes, sure.
Evolution of everything is pretty cool in that regard, I do enjoy that. But you said something interesting there, that like music's gotten more pop, or like just like culture has gotten like more accepting of pop again, or
I think it's like I guess in terms of like a lot of what I listen to from like a sort of like pop sensible point of view is like a lot of like the global, but also quite like heavily influenced from the UK, like soul, jazz, R&B scene with like Tom Misch, Jordan Rakai, who's like he's from New Zealand, but he recently moved there. There's a band I've been following this year called Yakul from Brighton, I think from Brighton. So fucking good, dude. Like the mixing is off the charts because it's band. It's like it's a full-on band, but the way they've like mixed the bass is like super subby, so it's just got this like power, dude, and the vocals are super bright. The guy's singing is crazy.
But like pop music,
yeah. So I just think like in that space for me, it's like there's so much music available now that is in that space of like it's pop and it's catchy and you can sing along to it, but there's also like really cool jazz chords happening, or it's like to like a super housey beat.
I mean that's like your music essentially, but not the housey beat, but like like would you consider what you do pop? I mean, in the sense that like it's mostly vocally led, I would say it's pop. Yeah, like I wouldn't have expected you to like answer the question that way, really. I would have expected you to snap off a yes, because like to me it does just sound like pop. Like yes, it's got jazz, it's got everything else to it, but it's just got this like this cleanness and this like catchiness, and just all your songs, like even from Cynic Surrender, although that's definitely on the more chilled like side of things, but like your stuff does have elements like, and like you say, like vocally led probably is why I have that feeling of it. I mean, I think there's also a lot of jazz on your music, like but yeah, like pop is what seems to like come through like the most for me, and like I like that a lot, like that there's this familiarity. Like when I listen to your stuff, like I say, like I wrote about it the other day, and like it does just like feel like not like I've heard it before, but it does feel comfortable. Like it feels like it's full of sounds that like like I feel like I know the song before I've even like heard the whole thing. So Like,
That's cool.
So to me, like that definitely makes it like quite a poppy kind of vibe. But I also put, you know, a lot of like indie rock and like a lot of rock and pop categories, a lot of hip hop and pop categories. So because a lot of music can be something and pop now.
Yeah.
Like that does. I think that relates and I think that works.
Yeah, dude.
But do you worry about like terminology like that being term pop? Cause
No, dude. No, it's cool. Like if that's the thing. Like with Payphone, like we definitely mixed it to have like a super pop kind of feel. Like one of the reference tracks I had for the masters was Suit and Tie by Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the other one was like a Jordan Rackeye track. It's sort of more like smoother side of things. But yeah, I think what I was really happy about with Payphone was it was the first song I'd written that I knew had like a very pop feel to it, but it still felt cool to me. I was like, yeah.
Running Circles
felt it, you know?
had like a pop vibe to it, right? Like
Running Circles, like I still dig it, and it's actually really nice to perform.
But you don't.
But as a song, it's kind of like that's old me. Like
Okay.
I've learned a lot, kind of thing.
That one's got almost like not a Robbie Williams. What's his name? What's the other cat's name who does covers? Like a Michael Bublé.
Oh yeah,
kind of
yeah,
vibe to it.
sure. Yeah, man. Coming out of Christmas.
Yeah. Would you do a Christmas album?
Oh, dude, if I did, I think I'd have to go like full cheese, dude. Just full cheese. That could be a lot of fun.
I think that would be
actually.
a fun project for like you and Tor.
Dude,
like,
but actually, funny enough, I remember over last Christmas time, Spotify had like a few things. Like there was like some Anderson .Paak and like the Free Nationals did like a cover of like an old Christmas standard, but like made it hip, dude.
Yeah,
like, it was fucking cool. So I mean, you know, you can actually take it that route too if you want to.
like, well, I don't know, like, you know how people do like tributes, like you could do like a tribute show that's just like a Christmas show, like where like you get like a band together and like bands do covers of dope songs. I should organize that. I'm gonna cut this part out.
Yeah.
But that would be a pretty
TM.
fun. If someone else wants to do it, just put me on the guest list.
Surely.
That's all I ask. Just put me on the guest list. I'm both actually putting in that kind of work, but you're like putting in quite a bit of work these days when it comes like to the music side, traveling a bit more. Like you know, have you finished writing your EP? Like,
dude, I'm actually expecting the masters this evening.
oh, so it's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Oh snap! So how many tracks? What's the vibe?
It's 6 tracks, including Payphone.
Yeah.
And like an alternative version of Swimming, which is a track I released in February this year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, dope. And like, who have you worked with on it? Because like, I assume like Tor's like.
Yeah. So Tor did Payphone with me, and we do a track called Hand It Over, which is taken on like a very sort of different life from how it started.
Okay.
But the initial beat that I was working off was the beat that Tor made, and when we were in the studio, it was like a Friday afternoon, and he like played it for me, and I was like, dude, can I jump on that? And he was like, dude, you can have it. Like don't even like, we don't have to like make it like a thing, like just have it. And I was like, shut. And yeah, dude, and so it's taken on this very different life now, but he was the catalyst.
Work in the same studio, right?
Not anymore, unfortunately.
But you did at one stage.
Yeah, it was a magical time. Cozy boys.
Okay, like, yeah, I can imagine, like, because you work with him quite a lot over the years. As you say, like, he helped produce your first track. So has he like helped guide you like a lot in this kind of stuff?
Dude, Tor has been a huge guide for me, particularly from a production point of view, and also just a creativity point of view.
Yeah, that
man's just like
like you were saying just now. He's put out this trailer for this film. He's
dude.
And I'm just like, it's so annoying to me. 'Cause it's like, I thought I was doing enough, you know. Like I always feel like I'm putting out enough work. I'm being creative. I'm trying different things. But then I see other cats like that, and I'm just like, how are you doing so much? And it's all so cool and fun and rad and like just free spirited and just like beautiful. Like I just love, I love like Tor's vibe and I love what he does. Like,
yeah, dude.
I've had him on the podcast before, so people.
I listened to that one, dude.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Just shouting out for the people listening.
Yeah.
They can go give that one a listen because I think Tor is definitely dope ass musician. So who else do you have on the?
Yeah, so Tor's Payphone and then the origin of Hand It Over, and then 2 tracks. One is the second single that's going to come out on the 24th of October, and another one called This Is Joy, both initially produced by Simon Lee, who also was with us on tour.
Simon, dope.
Yeah.
What was his project?
He released stuff under Mango.
Yes, he did that cool EP, like that little.
Yeah, it was The World According to Mango.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
Fucking dude, and he just dude. For me, he makes such incredible music, dude, and his drum programming for me is just like off the charts, dude. Because he's also super into like a lot of like math rock kind of stuff.
Okay,
so like crazy sort of time signatures and stuff. So and like that's so much fun to do live, dude. Like it's really cool. So
is it not challenging?
Do you know? The funny thing is like, so I've taken I've got 3 of Simon's tracks in my live performance. So it's only two of them for the EP, but they're my favorite to perform, especially the piano arp, the one that's going to come out now. But yeah, dude, just because like the foundation that he lays provides like so much space for like a lot of energy to be like put into it. So they have like a very sort of like live kind of feel now, but still with all the original like electronic, like all the sound effects and the like electronic production that's from like the demo version. So we kind of like merged the band performance. So it's like live drums, live bass, live guitar, and then afterwards doing like vocals properly, doing all the sax takes.
But then you also like you don't really have space to fuck up because like you're playing to like a track. Like
oh yeah, dude. Yeah, no. What that's
like at least with the band, like you know, like you can speed up or slow down like with each other. You know, like but like if you've got the bassline track and like someone's like missing it, like they can fuck things up. Like
sure,
maybe.
But with the band thing, it's quite nice because like so when we play with the full band. Then it's only really like electronic stuff that's still sitting in the backing track.
Okay.
So it frees it up a lot more. So like especially with bass, like guys can like be a lot more free and just like groove. But that's the other thing, dude. Like taking some of like Simon's stuff in particular to Asher Gamedze, my drummer, who's just this like fucking burning drummer, dude. And I feel so bad because I'm like I come to him with these like crazy ass like fucking left field shit, and he just sits there and he's like okay. And he just like gets into it, and he makes it like his own, and it's his drumming, and then like the combination of what happens in the drums and the bass is what takes the like the full band thing into quite like a jazz kind of space, I think. And then the one other track, there's the 2 other tracks on the EP. The one No Brights is actually produced by Sean Ross.
Must you cool.
Tray Flips and Palm Drive. So
all Durban cats.
Yeah, all
doing
Durban
like
cats.
a whole. That's really dope. Like that's a cool collection of people. Like I like that. It's like all those cats that you're working with, all do different kind of things like in the South African scene as well, but also all within like kind of the same sphere. How was it like working with the different cats? You guys just bounce stuff around like?
Yeah, dude. With this No Brights one, it's the. I mean, I might change my mind on this, but I'm pretty sure it'll be the intro to the EP, like the first track, because it's a bit shorter and it's got a much more sort of like dreamy electronic
kind of
vibe.
With?
That's the one with Miss You.
Okay, that makes sense.
Did the one with the initial project name when they sent it through to me, like just like the track was Durban Chill Swing, which I was like, I love that so much. But so then and then I added vocals and sax to that, and then everything else is their production.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And then just trying to think now in terms of like live performances and stuff, like how has the gigging been going? Like Cape Town, like you say, there aren't been like a lot of venues at the moment, so what's the strategy when it comes to this thing? Because you've been in the music game for quite a while now, and like trying to make a living off of it. You do freelance stuff as well as like the band.
No, definitely not full time yet. But dude, I mean, look, is
it sustainable here, or like is overseas the goal? Like so many other
I think
bands?
Unfortunately at this point, it's like if you're gonna take it very seriously. Well, no, actually, I take that back, because if you look at South Africa, guys who are making very like sort of rappers and like trap dudes are making like very, very popular music, dude. Like a lot of people are listening to them and they're making money, right? They're making money. So I would say it's more like potentially if you're making music that has a much more sort of like global feel to it, so it's like influence more from America, UK, the kind of like around the world sort of thing, then I think at the moment it's probably makes more sense to go overseas. But I mean, so for instance in Cape Town, like winters are still like super quiet. Like winter gigs are like it's they're tough. Dude.
That's when all your like O's go to Berlin.
yeah. I mean it's true. Yeah, it's like a mass cruise out.
It's always like that's become like the Cape Town migration. Like in Durban, like there's always like an annual migration of like Durbanites who move to Cape Town. Like that happens usually in the beginning of the year because a lot of them go to study or just like they're like fuck it, I'm over this place. And they fuck off to Cape Town. And then Cape Town, it always like you see your Instagrams. It's always like as soon as the winter hits, everyone's like, yeah, no, I am heading the fuck to Berlin. I'm in London. I'm like somewhere where it's summer now. And like you can perform there, like which is pretty dope. Like especially a place like Berlin, like a lot of like acts like Tor. Had John Shaban on the podcast and stuff. He also chatted about that. So yeah, I imagine like you're looking those sort of countries.
I mean,
has your music hit there at all? Like, have you like seen the stats? Like,
I think swimming did quite well in the States because I think it had more of that sort of like big sort of produced R&B kind of feel.
Yeah,
I feel like that resonates.
Yeah, there was quite an R&B like bass track.
Funny enough, Running Circles through Apple Music was like big in Russia, dude. Homies were jamming to it in Russia and Mexico, I think as well. So yeah, I did. I mean,
USA, Mexico tour could be quite a vibe.
Yeah, I did, and I know a guy in Mexico who could probably stay with. Pretty sick.
Yeah, there's also this Kurt Pinker who was in City Bombazos. He lives in Mexico now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, could hit him up.
Yeah, nice dude. But yeah, I did. I think, I mean, I would definitely still like to get over to Europe. Potentially, even though I know it to be like hard work relative to being on like in like Europe, but like the UK, just because it's like it's tough, and like London specifically, but just because of that sort of soul jazz scene that's happening at the moment there, it could be interesting to try and like.
You think your music fits the scene?
I think so, dude. Like, either there or maybe even Australia, because they're like soul jazz. Right, yeah, dude. Like they're sort of like soul jazz funk, like hip hop house. It's all like there's this Hiatus Coyote. They're a jazz band from or neo soul band, I guess, from Melbourne. And more recently, I've come across another band from Melbourne called 3070. I can hear like very influenced by Hiatus Cody, but like make it their own as well. It's just so groovy.
It's so fast stuff like pops up like that, like and like how that can become scenes and like how that can become like its own like kind of thing, like you know like. But also, I guess it's a bit difficult when you're doing it. You're like the only cat doing it this side of the world. Like,
yeah, dude. But I mean, what's cool is you've got things are starting to come up, right? Like the Gorda circuit. Like that's that's so cool.
If you can get on it, yeah.
No, sure, if you can get on it, but the fact that it exists for you to apply, like playing,
getting to playing
like MTN Bushfires, I'm really hoping to get selected for the.
Yeah, that
would be for the one next year.
Even if you don't, just like Reunion Island in general.
I think I'll apply to all the Gorda festivals for sure. But like stuff like that, dude, and then also just like we got to start like closer to home first in terms of I think just like networking, just people being more open.
But the thing is, do you think like even locally, like you can make it as a band, like like is that a possibility even, or like
I think so, dude. I mean, it's difficult for me to say because I feel like I'm still in the beginning, you know.
Yeah, well, but that's like you're the one looking at it. Like, so I'm wondering from your perspective, like, because you're literally trying to make a career out of this. You're literally trying to make it your life. Like, you're doing it to a degree, but like you say, like it's the freelance stuff that keeps you alive.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just trying to like see it from your perspective, like how, because for me personally, looking at comedy, like. I don't see enough of an audience for what I do. Like if I go out and do gigs, like to 5 people like every week. Sure. So I'm trying to develop ways to build an audience in other ways so I can get more people to my shows and be happier just in general. So that's the thing. Like I've got the, perspective of like my industry and that. So that's why I'm just trying to like figure out like what's your like thought pattern when it comes to like, being a band in South Africa at the moment.
I guess I was lucky that like even though having to get like a 9-to-5 job for a few years kind of put me on the back seat musically, it taught me a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. Financial management.
Yeah, financial management, but also like working with people who aren't necessarily the same as you as well. Because I think often if you work as a creative person without necessarily the structure of like a 9 to 5, you're often working with people that think similarly to you. Because if you're like collaborating with people, you're often going to be like-minded people, right? But in like a 9 to 5 space, you're chucked in with like everyone, dude. It's like kindergarten.
Fucking hate it. Fucking hate it.
But you learn so much good stuff with like just learning how to just be patient and like understand people and stuff. And then, because that for me, dude, like so much of this whole like planning a tour, it's like just like logistics, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Excel spreadsheet. Here we come. How much is
dude. Like everything
like
costs? Like
yeah, exactly.
I do it for myself. Like like I go into on my ACE and I'm gonna do like those spreadsheets for myself. Like. How much are we spending on food today? How much are we spending on like Ubers like to the venue? Like if I get like this place is close to the venue, then it's cheaper, but like it costs a bit more than that place, which is further away. Like all of that kind of stuff,
dude. And funnily enough, on an even more like serendipitous note, the guy who was a creative director at the agency that I worked at for like a few years, Stefan Olivier, is the guy who shot the Payphone video.
Oh, SACS.
So like we met at a time when I like wasn't like working on music at all really, other than just like teaching myself.
And was he doing videos and stuff?
He not so much then, but like it's always, I think it's kind of been his thing, like photography and videography. So yeah, like maybe like last year he hit me up and he was like, dude, in between jobs, like I'd dig to shoot a video, let me know when you've got a song that you want to shoot.
That's sick.
And like yeah, and then we did it, like he did it for free, which meant that the budget that I had went towards like all the props and stuff. And like the
cool, because I was gonna ask, like it looks like a pretty like not high budget, but like slick video. Like
dude, he just like came through like his he had shown me some stuff that he had worked on, which wasn't necessarily like a music video. It was like a really really
just
cool
well shot,
just like beautiful like.
But that's the thing, like stuff's like like he's got a good eye.
He's got a good eye, dude.
Like everything,
shout out
like
to Stefan, dude.
Composition
through
is solid. Like and then all those props and shit. Like so,
dude.
like I thought, like where did you find all that shit? Because I thought it was like literally just like maybe the back of like Ratanga Junction or something. Like,
dude, not far off. Like it's so there's this props house called Props to the Stars, in Salt River. It's like just as you're going like through Tricker Road, you go over the bridge, and then it's like actually on Transnet property.
Okay.
So like a week and a half or so before, we were trying to like nail down our locations, and we sussed out, because we'd gone to find props, because we'd like gone to find like all the spy props and shit, and so we had been there already, and then we thought about it and we were like, because they were the ones that we hired the actual telecom like phone booth from. But we realized
so you had to hire like the
we hired the phone booth.
Because you don't find one, like,
dude. So I actually remember it was Women's Day, dude. 9th of August, I went out on this mission to like find some, because we'd already shot that scene, so we got that. Yeah. But I was so keen to like get normal shots of like with normal people around, like. But dude, they are all gone, at least in Cape Town.
Yeah, there's one or two red ones like in Durban, like I don't know if they're Telkom or like some private company, but they all smashed up and they all like.
Dude, I even went through to Canal Walk, because I was like, there's a Telkom office there, and because it's a public holiday, that's like the only one that we opened, so I cruised through, and I went to them and I was like, do you guys maybe have like a database, of like ones that are still here? And they looked at me, they were like, nah, dude, they're gone.
Like if you want to make it, like, because payphones do still exist, you just got to chat to like a mama on the side of the road, like they've got like those phones, and then you pay like $2 for like a phone call, like, so the concept's still kind of there. Like, so people listening to it, like, that are young these days can still kind of understand what you're talking about when it comes to a payphone.
Yeah, dude, the payphone thing came, like, that was very much part of, like, the first sort of, like, stream of consciousness, like, lyrics that just came out over the beat that Tord made. And that, as soon as like, payphone came through, I thought of the Colin Farrell.
Yeah, like, I dig that line. Like,
so I had fun with that, and then, but yeah, so the video was basically in the parking lot of Props to the Stars.
Oh, and did
which
you just
made
get props from inside and bring them
well,
out?
yeah, I did, but they also like in the parking lot. There's just like so much stuff, dude. There's just props everywhere. So it's just like so like otherworldly, which was super cool. So we hired like the yellow Nokia, the Zebra,
okay, cool.
and like a few other pieces that like were like sort of located across the back. That was hella fun. And what was really cool actually was I didn't realize until the end of the day when we'd been shooting, but Stefan had like placed these old like orange sort of like shells of like an old Payphone, like an 80s one, dude, like so pre-Telcom.
Oh,
but like not set up with an actual phone in it. It was just like the shell.
Yeah.
But there was like 3 of them stacked like back to back.
Okay,
and it's like just off in the corner, and it was like my own like Easter egg because I like only realized once we had shot it, and I was like, oh, wow. And he was like, oh yeah, dude, I just did that when we got you. And I was like, yo, it's sick.
That's dope. I actually remember those phone booths, like the ones that encapsulate you.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
I didn't check them on the video though.
Yeah, no. Like it's like super like off in the corner there.
Yeah. And your press release for Payphone says it's about like how we're stalked by companies and stuff like that. What's the vibe? Like,
dude, I mean, I guess it's been like this sort of, I guess like some of like the biggest like global sort of stuff to happen of like last pretty much since Trump, I guess, or just like the build ups to Trump. You know?
Yeah, like I mean, because Snowden getting like bringing everything to light when it comes to the NSA. Like we are just recorded fucking constantly. Like I mean, we're literally being recorded now, not just by me. Well, I don't know. If, like, the whole thing of like, your phone's like always listening and stuff. Like, is that like a concern? Are you worried about it?
Not really, dude. Because I'm like, I don't know. Like, for the most part, it's actually just like it helps me a lot. Like
the fact that your phone's listening to you, like
it does. It helps me a lot, dude. It helps. Well, no, I mean, I actually don't really like shop online at all.
Okay.
So luckily, I don't know. It's just been something I just realized. Like I don't do it. So not in that sense, but in I don't know, just like the fact that you've gone to Google Maps, and if you're going back to somewhere you've just been, it's like the next one there. Small things like that. That's dope, right? That helps you. Like that's cool.
That's definitely.
But obviously, like, and I don't know. My thing is like if I'm not causing cuck, if Big Brother's listening, like I'm just what I mean. Like I'm like. But then the whole thing
you're gonna be complicit when Big Brother happens. I can see what you're gonna be in line. You're gonna listen. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Well, I don't know. Like if I'm not doing anything wrong, that's my thing. But then it's also like I don't know, like tongue in cheek, dude.
But that's the thing, because then they change shit up on you.
That's exactly what like. That's where I try to take the sort of like more like critique side of it. Is like. How do I want to put this? Like they're listening all the time, and if it's so, I think I can't remember which book I read, but it was basically this guy. Hey?
Maybe A Scanner Darkly.
No, it might have been Homo Deus actually, the sequel of the history of humankind.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about like how like in a biological sense, like how you can break down. Like the human body into algorithms essentially because it's a chain of like reactions to like a source of something. It's essentially like an algorithm.
Okay.
An idea of like digital algorithms being able to improve at a faster rate and eventually outsmart a fully human algorithm to the point that you have lost free will essentially. Because if it's now operating at a faster rate than you, sure, it doesn't have the emotional intelligence part. Like that will always be like a different thing. I think, but they've also had done tests where they've had like an AI like compose like a symphony, and then like there's like a real symphony, and they ask like people which one they enjoyed more, or like which one they thought was the real one, and they can't tell the difference.
But you know what would be able to tell the difference? AI. That's what's fucked up. That's what's fucked up.
Exactly, dude. No, that's when it's lost though.
Like so you know how like you know what our fight against deepfakes.
Deepfake, dude. That AI. Shit's gonna like, dude. How is politics gonna survive deepfakes?
Well,
honestly,
the thing is, I don't think it's deepfakes that are the issue. It's the way we consume media. It's the way people just believe anything. It's the way people aren't critical of the stuff that they. So like deepfakes wouldn't be a problem if we had more critical thoughts, if we had more people, because already there's misinformation,
dude.
So that's the thing, like just simple things like having fake websites is already confusing people. So that's the thing. I don't think the technology of deepfakes is like, it's worrying in terms of porn and shit like that, like people like putting like, you know,
sure.
people's faces on, that's super fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, but like in terms of everything else, like it's just gonna be whatever, because you should be able to go, yeah, that's fake, like that didn't happen, like, you know. But like for smaller people, that's where it can be an issue. Like for presidents and stuff, it's pretty simple for everyone to go, nah, that didn't happen. But like for you as a small private citizen, like with someone who's put your face on porn and now wants to like, you know, extort you for money, or be like, I'm gonna, you know, put this out there. Yeah, that's where shit like becomes more of a problem. So that's why like the surveillance stuff and like AI, this is all shit that like, yeah, with my show The End of the World, like, you know, I've been writing about and worrying about as well. So that's why I was just like interested like in your thoughts on the, with, you know, you talking about it with Payphone being like one of the themes is like that we always been watching.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, totally. And I think I always try to like not take like critiquing something that's like this big myopic issue and like trying to take it too seriously. I always like to at least have like some form of like tongue in cheek, just to like, just like some sort of like self-awareness of like my opinion on this like topic shouldn't be like taken like to heart, like this is music, you know. I'm just like expressing sort of thoughts and stuff, I guess. But
that's one way to describe music. Yeah, just expressing thoughts and stuff.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, at the same time, it is like a cool, like loving pop song, like, you know.
Yeah. I think the sax was a lot of fun to do, like to be able to just jump in. I think that sax line for me comes from like a very like listening to a lot of like South African jazz.
Okay,
like,
actually, but like, does that come through like in, because even in Running Circles, like,
yeah, for sure,
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Like,
dude, the guy who was my saxophone teacher in high school was this guy called Buddy Wells.
Okay.
And he's still playing now with like a lot of bands. So Asher, my drummer, actually recorded an album at the end of last year, and Buddy played on it. Mandisi Jantis is a jazz musician. I think he's from the Eastern Cape. I think he won Best Jazz Album Summer last year, I think. Like beautiful, dude. Like it's like beautiful music, dude. And all in Xhosa.
Okay. And
he's also a trumpet player. So it's like switches between vocals and trumpet quite a lot. And then Buddy Wells plays sax in it, dude. And this guy, dude, is like, he's just got so much soul. Like, he just plays with so much soul. It's unreal, dude. And he also like, because it's very much a South African jazz space, he just like dives into that like style of playing. Yeah. And he just kills it, dude.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
How do you, like, when you're writing songs, like, you know, like, because I imagine it must be like you need a bit of time to switch between sax and singing, right? You can't just like put the sax down and immediately go into vocals. I imagine your breathing has to change quickly, like stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you figure, like, when you're writing songs, does that come into mind? Do you think like that? Like,
definitely, dude. Like, sometimes, you know, I'll let it be like an instrumental section, so that even when we're performing it live, I am able to just play the song almost as it is, because I've like made space to like sing like a chorus and then go into like playing sax afterwards. I've definitely had to like build up a fitness for sure, because it's like I
can imagine.
And
breathing.
I also like I tend to lose my shit on stage as well. So
do you work out at all, or like?
I swim, dude.
Is it? Okay,
yeah, I swim.
Yeah, so that's also good for the breath.
Dude. Yeah, it's also I dig swimming. It's very like therapeutic, especially because of like the breathing and stuff. It's like almost, I guess, like meditative in a way.
I've always wanted to get into swimming, but like I just don't dig it that much.
Yeah. No, I know it's like it's not a lot of people's tip, dude.
Like, I can't listen to music whilst I do it.
Dude, like, well, you can. I mean, I don't know how expensive they are, but I know that there are like waterproof, like earpods that you can get. But I would be keen to try it, but I feel like it would like disorientate me a bit.
Is it? Yeah.
Well, maybe not if you're listening to something that's like repetitive, like house or something, like a cool, like, I don't know.
Yeah, just something that just cool beats, keeps you in time. Like, that's the cool thing about at least like running, like, you know, like running with music, you just like run to the beat. Yeah. Like, you know, it's the same thing as like boxing even, like, you know, if you got like a punching bag or something and like, you know, you just do stuff to the beat and like it just helps like so much. A bit of a weird turn there. Yeah. But Yeah, so when writing songs and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
like you obviously have to consider like just your own like capabilities as like a human being. Like,
Yeah.
that's so crazy because like at least like you know if you were just doing vocals or you were just doing sax, then those aren't even considerations. Like you know in like you know the song structure at all. Like then it's just like you know if you were just singing, then you had someone else playing sax, your songs would be different basically.
Kind of, I guess. I mean, I think if I maybe like found someone who I thought sort of had like a cool sound and the way that they made it their own like felt cool with everything else, but I mean that's kind of where like using a backing track has become useful. So
Okay.
even in songs where I do play sax, I sometimes still have other sax in the backing tracks to like add harmonies and that kind of thing.
Dope, and then also to fill the space when you do need to like.
Yeah, and also like you can create dynamics so that you know you maybe have a section where like I'm playing live sax, but there's other sax happening in the backing track, and then the sax in the backing track falls out, and then it's just live sax, and then it kind of like changes up the feel a little bit, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that actually would be pretty cool because like it's harmonizing and then it's
Yeah.
not. Like so
it's I mean it's totally a cheat, but like I've enjoyed having that because it's just
is it
like
a
I
cheat?
wouldn't.
Is it a cheat though? Because it's like.
But
it's
I mean, like
2019
it's
now,
2019,
like, you
so
can
in that
create
sense,
music
yeah,
how you want.
it doesn't feel like one to me. Like, and I think it's by virtue of the fact that like I enjoy playing it the way I do. Like, I think it's for me, it's cool. But yeah, I guess like in terms of writing, it's kind of like I kind of have two main approaches where it's either something that I start from fresh,
Yeah, or you take someone else's.
or I take someone else's, yeah. And
Like-
usually if I do write myself a beat, I'll kind of produce it to like a sort of like a demo level, and then I'll take it to like a producer homie to help me like polish it up
Okay.
and like fill it out.
So beats are still like not your strong point.
I'm starting to like I feel like I'm starting to find my feet, dude. I've been
Okay.
getting into like I've always
So
since
you've always been like more melody driven, like.
melody driven, but like also rhythmically driven, like
Okay.
especially since like I suppose like around 2012, getting into like future Kwaito and like
Okay.
Pansula
Yeah,
stuff
yeah. I
through like
remember like.
LV and
Yeah.
and Cool Cats and like all those guys, and then when like reached the rest of the country like 2015 2016, like going to that and like going out, I suppose that's when I kind of had like a resurgence of like partying. I was in
Okay.
like my mid-20s, and I was like, I think my
So was that-
New Year's resolution for 2016 was like I gotta party more, man.
So
And I was
we're
getting-
always jamming that down in Cape Town.
yeah, dude. Like I remember we had which was really cool. I enjoyed this party. We had an house party where DJ Lag played, and it was
Oh,
December
snap. Okay,
December
cool.
2015.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right at the peak of like everything.
Yeah, and that's kind of I guess where like I found. I guess I've always like enjoyed dancing as well, but like especially with like Pansula, house, like the footwork kind of stuff. Like
I was gonna say, like in your video, you've got a little Pansula footwork going on there.
yeah, dude, like I had that was a lot of fun.
Did you have to learn the choreography before? Or was that stuff you kind of?
No, like all the obviously like the dance with everyone.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we choreographed, myself and Robin, my girlfriend, we choreographed that. But everything else in between is just like freestyle.
And who's in the video? Because I noticed Pure's there. So
Yeah, Pure. She's from Fruit and Veggies originally,
yeah.
and now she's got her solo projects. So I'd always known of Pure,
Yeah.
but I really got to know her last year when I helped her record her vocals for an EP that she put out in December last
Yeah,
year.
it was dope.
Yeah, I loved it so much. It was like such an awesome experience to
She's
like
always
work
been
with
ahead
her.
of the
dude.
game. Like,
And she also like when you're into that room and she's like recording these vocals, dude, and she's just
Oh,
like
you
letting
hear
her
it,
heart
and you
out,
hear it
dude.
live,
Yeah, and I'm
like-
like right there, like hitting record, dude. Yo, it's just so much power, dude. And then she also has her daughter Naledi. So like she would come hang out, and she's
Oh,
like,
that's
honestly, dude, she's the coolest kid I've ever met. Dude.
yeah, I
This
haven't seen the lady in years because obviously Durban, Cape Town.
Yeah,
vibes, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pure's in the video. Aviwe, who's
Yeah.
who's in my band, plays guitar and does vocals as well. Robin, my girlfriend. And then Siamo Seape is a good friend of mine. He was the spy like in the car.
In the car, yeah.
And then a good friend of mine, Tanya Slater, also a housemate of mine. She was the mystery agent number 1.
Okay, so yeah, you just got the homies involved.
Dude,
basically.
homies, dude, yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
because the dancing was pretty fun. Like, I
Yeah,
enjoyed
dude, we
it.
wanted to keep it like super lighthearted, like And dude, it was wild. Like, we got sent this video the other day of like these kids like practicing the dance, like watching the video, and I was like, wow. That hit home for me. I was like, you're sick. It's cool. Like, we made like a fun dance. Like, I was chuffed.
It'd be dope if it gets out there a little bit more.
I was actually thinking maybe I should do like a dance challenge thing,
break,
you know?
or a dance challenge, or just a dance break during the song, like on stage, like.
Well, we actually did, like, the other night we played a gig in Stellenbosch. It was just me and Nkosi.
Oh wow, that must have been quite lit.
Dude, it was really cool. It was run by a friend of my brother's, Nathan, and it was part of like they called the I think it's like Children's Foundation, and they're working with the Kwaito Primary. It was like a fundraiser for their literacy project. So it was Cloud Inc., who I think they like play sort of quite like cool indie, like Mac DeMarco type stuff.
Okay.
Originally from George, I think, but like kind of based in Steadies.
That's what I was trying to think of. Your jangly fucking guitar on fucking Payphone. Like I referenced Tame Impala.
That's tall.
Yeah, I referenced Tame Impala, but it was definitely Mac DeMarco who I was actually. But like I was just thinking of the person who had listened to something that sounded like that.
Then I got that.
Impala, yeah. But it's Mac DeMarco who I think like actually like has like more of that sound in there. Yeah. And like Tor, obviously, because Tor likes Jack Johnson.
Yeah,
dude. DeMarco is Jack Johnson.
Exactly.
So it all makes sense there.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Cool. Well, I think we did pretty much an hour there already. So I'm gonna thank you for your time here, bro. This has been super dope.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna come and try and check you out at the Chairman tomorrow. Because like I say, like first Thursdays, like I really support the dudes and what they do, and I appreciate the fuck out of it, but I am 32 years old. I cannot be like in a cramped up fucking like, you know, room where everyone's just sweating, and like it's lit as fuck. Go to it if you are into being young and jolting your face off. First Thursdays is the vibe. But the Chairman is like so where I'm at in my life these days. Like it's just like such a sweet spot. It's like a beautiful, like well curated like space, and like you can actually like breathe a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to hopefully checking you guys like as a full band, like you said, like this all five of you tomorrow. So that's also, I'm keen to see that. I haven't seen you like at all. So I'm
actually wait, I think I saw you once at Evil in Cape Town. You were down for something.
Yes. Oh, that was like
no, that was still a while ago.
Yeah,
and still a while ago.
And that was also like on a weird ass night. I think that was the night Smirnoff brought me down for like one of their secret parties or something.
Yeah.
It was like a weird time. Like back when they used to fly bloggers to like parties. Oh, I miss those days. But anyway, hopefully one day they'll be flying podcasters to parties, and then I'll be seeing you a bit more in Cape Town. Cool. Thanks a lot, bro.
Thanks, man.